Hello everyone. Today is Tuesday, February 17th. Had to think for a second. And I'm out here in Benson. Just made a drive from Marina. And I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but it is raining. And it's raining pretty good here. So it's going to be kind of a miserable couple days out here for me. Because if you've been following, I sleep out here sometimes in my car. And it's going to be a cold one the next couple days. In like a lion, out like a lamb. So, that's how it works with winter transition to spring, as temperatures are just doing this kind of thing. We have 40-degree temperature swings from day to night and, all that good stuff. So, what do we got going on? So, I'm sitting in the car just because, it's raining out here, and being that I've been in Arizona for over 20 years in the desert, I don't really like the rain too much, so I'm just kind of hunkering down to the stops. I'm not going to lie, it's kind of wrecking my plans, but, I did know it was going to rain, or was supposed to, so, it is what it is, but I'm on a schedule. So, the goats, my two Nigerian dwarf goats, they're just pets. I got them as an impulse buy. I knew when I got them that I really didn't need them, and they were simply just for fun, for pleasure. Anyways, they were still in Marana because I didn't want to bring them out here until I had a pretty secure structure for them to stay in, because sometimes I got to leave this place for a couple days at a time to go back to Marana, and the chickens I finally got done, but there's a lot of planning that goes with that, because I can't just have some simple tiny little structure for them. I got to have at least a place where they can have a place to move around while we're not here, and not to mention their water, their food situation. We have a lot of rats out here, so that complicates things. You can't just leave their food out. So there's all these variables, you got to take into account. Everything is work when you're homesteading like this. Everything's a job. Nothing is simple. And that's a fact. That's one of the things I will say about homesteading, at least the way I'm doing it. There's nothing that's simple. Every little thing you do, you got to plan out, and you got to really kind of think through it before you just act, which I did not do when I bought these goats. So that was probably the big mistake I've made. I would say probably one of the biggest mistakes I've made so far homesteading was just because the reason it was a mistake was because I already knew this. This was one of those things where I knew not to do that. Don't get animals before you have the time and the ability to take care of them. Instead, I just, it was an impulse thing. I've always liked goats. We had goats when I was a kid. I had one goat out here. My wife and I had one goat out here when we lived in a different part of town. He was a Nubian. He was really cool goat. Should have had more than one, I know. But anyways, between having him as a kid, having that guy, and then now we have these, I love them, man. They're part of the family. They're definitely our pets. We just enjoy the heck out of them. But they are super destructive animals. If you don't have a good habitat for them, we've had them in our backyard because there's nothing else back there, and it's a pretty big backyard for our HOA area, but like 2,500 square feet. But they they destroy everything, and it was just time to get them out here. It's a pair, they're buddies. So anyways, finally we got this structure made for them to chill out in. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to fence off, probably at least a few acres for them where they can just roam around, and then I can get more milking goats. So that's the plan eventually. But even then, I don't know for sure how many I'm going to get of those, because I know milking's like a full-time job. So I don't know yet. We're gonna just wait that one out. But anyways. So I'm here, got a trailer loaded down in the back here. It's always a treacherous journey from Marana to Benson because just having a trailer and on the freeway with nothing but semis, it's in this little car, it's a little scary. So always happy when I make it here. But now, I'm here and it just started pouring. So kind of just stuck in the car. Figured, hell, might as well make a video, right? Haven't done one of these face-to-camera videos before. I just figured I would just talk about homesteading and just tell everybody what we're up to and what the plan is for the next 6 months. So initially, if you've been following us, my wife and I bought property out close to Benson in Arizona. It's called RU4. That's the zoning, which means it's rural. And that means you can't parcel your land lower than 4 acres. It has to be 4 acres minimum. So we have close to 18 acres out here, and we decided we're going to do raw land and build our own house. And the reason that's possible is because Cochise County in Arizona allows you to do a thing called owner-builder opt-out. It's a very unique program that you will have a hard time finding it anywhere in the United States, let alone here in Arizona. So, or vice versa. And so basically, what it means is that we were able to get permits for about less than $300 to build a house, build whatever we want out here, basically. The only caveat was the septic. You can't you can't DIY that. You have to do the whole, the state's involved with that. So it's one of those things where you got to get, the perk test. The perk test for the septic was more expensive than our permits. So, it's kind of weird, but that's the way it is. And so anyways, the owner-builder opt-out says that we sign a document saying we're going to build to code, but we're opting out of building inspections and code inspections. So basically just means that we can build our house and don't have to worry about dealing with constant inspections and codes. And we have 3 years to do it, 1 year extension. So a total of 4 years to build our house, which allows you to piecemeal your house together in sections, which is very hard to do with a traditional loan and doing it the traditional way. Now, there are obvious downsides to doing it this way. It's hard to get, if you want to get a traditional bank loan to do it, good luck. So you can't really do it that way. You got to do a lot of your purchases on credit card and stuff. But when you're building a house, most of the building materials, if not all of them, you don't need a bank loan to do. You got to just do it in sections so you don't run up your debt too much. So the idea for Teresa and I was that, if we do this in sections and we're willing to live uncomfortably for a few years, we really won't go into debt at all. And so that, we want to not have the loans. We want to just do it in sections, and, that way we're not tied down to that. So it just made sense. Also, the ability to just have creative control over the process. We're doing some in-ground housing, which is really cool. We're doing some very rounded structures, just things you can't do with stick builds, and so we're building with stone masonry. We're going to use earth bags. We're going to use, some adobe and some traditional concrete work. So, that's what we're doing here. So we got the permit approved end of September of last year. And so since September, it's February. So end of September to February. So October, November, December, January. We're going on 5 months now. And 5 months, I would say probably haven't gotten a lot done, truthfully, compared to what a traditional home build. A lot of it because we just haven't really figured out what we wanted to do yet. And, there's some planning that goes into this. And it was just one of those things where, this owner-builder opt-out is always in danger of going away because there's people that don't want it. Mainly big contractors don't like it because they want to, have control over the building, and, they don't want people like me out here building. What the hell do I know, right? Which, it's a money thing. So it's always in danger out here. So I wanted to get it. My wife and I wanted to jump on it while we could and make sure that it didn't go away, because someone did try to vote it down before and get rid of it, which means we wouldn't have had this option. So if you've bought land or if you've researched it, you understand that without the right zoning, um, you don't really have the freedom to do what you want on land, despite what you might think. There are certain spots in the United States you can do it, or in the world there's places, but it's hard to find something that's even close to a city that you can do what we're doing. It's very hard to find. So this really is about the only county it's really been a viable option to do exactly the stuff I want to do. So an alternative build that's more green, more sustainable, that kind of thing. It's a nightmare trying to do that stuff with permits. So anyways, so we're going on 5 months now, but things are starting to pick up steam, which is nice. So that's, we've definitely started coming into our own with this. And once we kind of had an idea of what we wanted to do, we've been out on the property plenty. So I learned the property well. We understand like where we do want to build, where we don't want to build. It's rained some good rains here, so we kind of see how the water acts out here, in certain spots. So it's been good. But now we're kind of starting to pick up the pace and starting to say, all right, we got the animal structures done, now we got to start building our own structures. So next step's going to be excavation. That's not cheap, especially for what we're doing. We're building in the ground, so everything's going to be 6 foot in the ground, and if not more. So that's going to cost you. So we're going to dump thousands into that, and then just buying building materials a lot this year, and finding building materials, that's a big thing. A lot of steel, a lot of concrete, a lot of cement, so wood even. So right now that's the plan. We're just the plan is we're going to start living out here in June, whether it be by RV or whatever. That's what we're going to have to do. But it can be uncomfortable for a while, but keeps you motivated to keep going. And we're going to eventually have part of the structure up by the end of this year, and so it'll be livable, and that'll be the first section of the house that'll be done, at least livable. The septic's got to be done too this year. That's something that has to be done right away, because the septic, you only have a couple years to complete that. So that's something that we got to get on, and frankly you need it anyway. So we're going to get the septic done this year. We're going to do most of the excavation, at least for the house part, and we're going to have a part of the structure built that is livable, that we can live in while completing the rest of the house, which frankly is going to take probably a few more years. So that's the plan, and that's it. I've been out here for about 13 minutes now. I'm getting tired of talking, and the rain has kind of let up, so I think I'm going to try to get outside here and at least start getting this trailer unloaded and get the goats ready for their new home. Thank you everybody that follows me. I do know that you get tired of hearing subscribe, and follow or whatever, but please do subscribe. I'll keep making these videos, and they'll get better, and I'll definitely try to help people who want to homestead, at least give you some, a different perspective on things. Maybe, this is what I did before we bought. I went on videos and just watched all kinds of people all over the world that do this, and just that's how I learned, just the ins and outs of the zoning and things like that. It was just, you got to get out there and you got to watch a lot of videos like this, and you can fast forward through most of it, but I'm telling you, you pick up bits and pieces off every video. But definitely subscribe if you can. That'd be great, and let people know what we're doing here in southern Arizona. So all right, I'll talk to you soon.